Test, test. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. It's so great to see you all here in person and also to see some of you online since we're also streaming this event. I am thrilled that we can have everybody back for the first time on campus since 2019 for reunion. Since for the past 2 years, we had to hold reunion in an online format. So welcome to the 2022 Reunion Celebration and Alumni Achievement Award ceremony. We're especially thrilled to be able to celebrate and recognize the accomplishment of two amazing alumni, Amanda Clark-Fox, class of 67, and Sherry Preischer, class of 87, as well as have the opportunity to listen to President Bateman's last college update before he passes the baton over to President Ott Rollins. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Brad over to the podium.
Well, as always, when I speak in Smith Hall, I can't see you. When they portray this on television, people standing on stage and they can't see the audience, it's true. Like Ludo, I want to welcome you to campus. It's wonderful to see you. Part of my comments this morning in the college update, which is the first thing I'll do, have to do with COVID. But I'll say now that everything is fluid. We have come to understand that, and even though incidence of COVID is rising again, we feel differently about it. Still, I know it was an act of faith for most of you to be here, and I really thank you for making that leap of faith and for joining us. It's really great to see you. And great to be together after 3 years of not being able to do this. So thank you. I've been asked to give a college update, and in a certain way that's difficult to do as I'm about to step out the door. As many of you know, my departure frames reunion weekend. Thursday, the Packers were at the President's house on Wednesday. The van left on Thursday. I was with you yesterday and today, and tomorrow morning I get up and get in the car and start the drive to Santa Fe, New Mexico. So I will work until the end of June because we do a lot of our budgeting work for the next fiscal year. All of that comes to fruition in June, so I'll be working remotely quite a bit after I get to Santa Fe, but the house needed to be empty for a month. It really needs some work, and so here we are. And as I said, it's a little bit difficult as you're stepping out the door to say, this is the state of the college. The state of the college is good, thank you. The things that I'd like to talk about this morning. First, I'd like to talk about our journey through COVID, and in particular, in talking about the journey through COVID, it's hard to bring back the uncertainty and the fear and the unsettledness of COVID. But the thing I most want to make sure I do this morning is to laud the faculty of the college for what they did. I want to laud the students, I want to laud the staff, but the faculty picked up more than anyone, they carried more than anyone, we ask more of them, and they're tired, frankly. So if you see faculty, if you know faculty and you see faculty this weekend at functions, please thank them for what they've done for the college over the last 2 years. So I'll remind you, When the world closed down in March of 2020, we were about to go on spring break. We sent the students home and said, you get an extra week of spring break and we'll let you know what's going to happen. Well, we didn't see them again for 9 months. We put everything online in the end of March of 2020. We finished that semester online. Campus was empty. It was like a ghost town. Then we made the very difficult decision. We're one of only 2 colleges in Virginia that made the decision to stay remote, completely remote, for the fall of 2020. And that was for the simple reason that testing was not available to us in a quantity that would allow us to test asymptomatic individuals, that is, do testing of the whole community in order to keep people safe and to know how COVID was spreading. The local hospital system was unable to help us with this. On a national level, the work had not been done, or the work had been fumbled for us to be ready for that kind of testing. We weren't ready. Other schools opened. They didn't do asymptomatic testing. They paid the price for that. So we ended up staying remote, not just for the spring semester and to finish the 1920 school year, but for the fall of 20. Then in the spring of 21, the second semester of the 2021 school year, we did dual delivery. Every student had a choice of whether to come back and be on campus or not. You could choose, every faculty member had a choice of whether to teach in class or to be online. And so it was a wild west, frankly. And the faculty really carried this burden. Most of the faculty had agreed in a meeting we had in October of 20 that they felt it was important that we reopen the college physically. They made that commitment, and that if they were able, they would teach in the classroom. And the burden that they carried offering the same class, every class they offered had to be available here physically on campus as well as online if they chose to do a live delivery. So basically they were working a second job full time. And of course it's difficult to take a course that you've taught all your life physically in person and put it online. It's a different thing. It's a very, very different thing. But the faculty carried that. So finally, all in-person teaching didn't return until the fall of 21, the fall of this year. Now, in a minute, I'm going to talk about Take Two with you. You have to remember, not only were we returning physically to campus and returning physically to the classroom, we were implementing a completely new system of delivery for our curriculum. Again, I'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but the faculty were not only carrying the dual delivery and the online teaching as a new enterprise for themselves, but they were also preparing to change every course we offer and every major we offer. And so they really have been amazing partners in the work we've done. I have said to them more than once, I don't have words to thank you for what you've done. Now, the staff stepped up and were remarkable. We had to move all the offices online in the spring of 2020. We kept campus closed as much as we could in the fall of 20. But of course, some people can only work if they are physically here, buildings and grounds, custodial workers, etc. And I hope you'll think campus looks good. We kept every custodian, every buildings and grounds worker, every tradesperson, the HVAC people, we kept everybody fully employed through the entire No one was let go because of COVID. So when the students came back, there was a lot of adjustment that had to take place. I won't say that it wasn't difficult, but it was engaged and deep to work with people who had learned to work remotely, who wanted to continue to work remotely, because we're not a remote college, period. We're not. You know, we had developed online summer teaching before COVID, and we've kept online summer teaching. We offer about 40 classes in the summer online, but we are about the personal experience of being physically behind the red brick wall and working with each other to help develop the life of every student who comes to us. And as great as online instruction is, it's not that thing, and it's not what we're committed to. So it was hard, because we had to say to people who could complete their jobs, they'd proven they could do their work online and remotely, that most people need to be here physically. Most offices need to have people in them and to be there. And so the staff were great about this. And in fact, there was a kind of euphoria in the staff when we finally came back to full life on campus this last fall. So I owe the staff a great debt of gratitude. I also want to say that we owe the students a great debt of gratitude. You know, we had over 90%, we required vaccination, but Virginia has a clause in state law which says if you have a religious objection, you don't have to be vaccinated. And we're not allowed to ask you what your religious objection is. That's against state law. So all you have to do is sign an affidavit and have it notarized, and you don't have to be vaccinated. In our student body, we had 39 or 40 students who were not vaccinated. This was amazing. And about the same in the staff and faculty. So everybody really cooperated. This year's student government president, who you will have seen around this weekend, Jalen Evans. Jalen is one of the best student government presidents I've worked with, if not the best. Student government was really on the students to wear their masks and to stay safe. And I want to conclude this segment of my college update by saying two things. Number one is we had very few cases of COVID in our community. We never got a big surge of COVID on campus. The biggest we got, I think, was an incident which included about 14 or 15 students. That was early on, and that was it. So the students were thoughtful, they were responsible, the faculty and staff were thoughtful and responsible. We didn't have to pester people about wearing their masks. They were really good about it. The final thing I want to tell you is that this spring, there was a sort of stutter step back to normality. We were back in the fall, but student engagement was lower than we would have hoped it would be. The students were still masked all the time. Finally, we lifted the masking this spring following CDC guidelines. And after we lifted the masking, the students really came back to life. We really saw them re-entering their activities with each other. We really saw student life beginning to burgeon again. And we did that without a spike of cases of any kind. So we've been very lucky. I had hoped to finish this segment of my update by saying we're back to normality. Of course, I don't know what normality is. I don't think anyone knows what normality is. But my final word to you is we got through this. I think we did well, and I think we'll do well going forward. It's hard, you know, life behind the red brick wall is a little bit like a cruise ship experience. So I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, but it turned out well. The other thing I want to talk about this morning is Take Two. You hear about Take Two, you see it in all the information we send out, but I want to say I think that this is one of the most important things we've done as a college. I think it's one of the most important things we've done because it represents a faculty initiative. I was actively involved in asking the faculty 3.5 years ago, to please consider changing our delivery model from a model in which students took 5 courses at a time, 5 3-credit courses, to taking 4 4-credit courses. I felt that this would help us with retention, that we'd be better able to keep students at the college if they weren't trying to balance 5 courses at a time. I frankly had never worked at a college that didn't have a 4-course load for the students. So the 5-course load was unknown to me, an unusual thing. It's a little more common in the South than it is elsewhere in the country, although you will find it elsewhere in the country. But most small liberal arts colleges have a 4-course load. Well, the faculty made a committee to study that, and man, it was like horses let out of the yard, you know. This had been brought up in the past, and they had nixed it. They said, yeah, we think that's a great idea. Not only that, but what if we took the semester and broke the semester into 2 pieces and of 7 weeks each, and the students only took 2 courses at a time and had a more intense integrative experience of those 2 classes at a time. And I said, sure, why? We could look at that. They did it. They did it. And again, I want to laud the faculty today. Every single course in the college had to be refashioned to make it a 4-credit course rather than a 3-credit course. You couldn't just submit the same syllabi with an extra book stuck on it. You actually had to have a completely new syllabi. That's for every course we teach in the college. In addition to that, because every course changed, every major had to be changed. So in the last 3 years, really in the last year before we made the switch this year, every course in the college went through a faculty meeting approval process. Every major and minor in the college went through a faculty meeting approval process. We spent painful hours doing this work, but it's the faculty's work. The faculty are responsible for the curriculum, not the president. They embraced this work. Not only did they have to make each course more substantive, but they had to completely change their pedagogy to figure out how to sequence the material so that meeting on Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, no class on Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, the different configurations of class, but everything had to happen in 7 weeks. And so think about lab classes. The turnaround time in lab classes had to be so much faster in order for the next lab to make sense to the students, and the sequencing had to be completely different. So the faculty did all that work, as I said a few minutes ago, while COVID was taking place. They have really picked this college up and carried it. They care about the college, they love the college, and we owe them a great debt of gratitude for their hard work. I do think that in a amazingly competitive environment in which the number of students going to college is dropping rapidly, we were looking at a demographic drop-off about 4 years from now. COVID has pulled that demographic drop forward for us. This year, the number of families filing FAFSA, the financial aid qualification form with the federal government, has dropped 10%. It's dropped 12% for continuing, or 12, almost 13% for students who are upper class students who are continuing, they just haven't refiled, and it's dropped over 15% for students from families that are Pell eligible, our lowest income students. So the pool of students available for college is shrinking fast. It's shrinking very quickly. And I could talk a long time about that, and that's not my point this morning. My point this morning is to say, I think we're doing the work to make ourselves attractive. One of the reasons that we are attractive to families is families, mothers and fathers, parents, guardians, look at their child and think, this child will thrive if they get the attention they need. This new delivery system says we are focused on your daughter or your son in an intensive, integrative way for 7 weeks at a time. And we know it's increased our applications. It increased our number of applications this year by over 400. Now, we don't have enough results yet to sell it out and see the result in the deposits, I think, but we're a few deposits ahead of where we were this time last year, maybe 10 deposits ahead of where we were this time last year. So we haven't manifested out of that 400 the increase in deposits we want to see, but I think that will come as students graduate and we can create media content that talks authentically about how this new system works. I want to finish what I have to say about Take Two with a final bouquet for the faculty and say that the faculty have been amazingly self-critical all year about how well Take Two's doing. They've looked at the success rate of students. They've looked at where students are succeeding and not succeeding, what works. They're looking at student evaluations very critically, and they're adjusting how we deliver Take Two. They don't think they've got it mastered yet. They continue to work hard on it. And so I'm very optimistic. Fortunately, the room's too big to take questions. But that's what I wanted to talk to you about, our coming through COVID and our moving into Take Two and our new curricular delivery system. Now I'd like to give an update on giving to the college and talk a little bit about some of the things we normally talk about on reunion weekend. So before we proceed to the Alumni Achievement Awards portion of the program, I'd like to express some deep appreciation to different classes and to all the alumni and alumni of the college, everything you've provided for us this year. Your giving during COVID has been remarkable. Last year we had a great year. We're having another good year this year. We depend on you to succeed. We depend on you to be able to support that faculty in the way they deserve to be supported in the hard work they're doing for the college. Special recognition today goes to the class of 1972 for having the highest reunion class gift participation and the largest reunion class gift. That is, doing simple math, the 50th reunion, in honor of their 50th reunion. 57 members of that class have contributed a total of $147,000 to benefit the annual fund. The classes of 1967 and 1977 receive an honorable mention for their class gifts. 56 members of the class of 1967 have contributed $103,000. And 54 members of the class of 1977 have given $107,919. When I read numbers like that, I always wonder, who sent the check for $19? Whoever it is, thank you. We thank the classes of 1970 and 71 for their multi-year support. These, of course, are the classes who were denied a live, real-time 50th reunion. The class of 1970 has given $210,000 over the last 3 years, and the class of 1971 has given $258,000 in the last 2 years. Let me tell you, when you are dealing with outside vendors and you've got to figure out how you're going to buy enough masks to supply campus and how you're going to buy enough COVID tests to supply campus, these gifts mean the world. They mean the world. I never do I have to stint on taking care of the student body or taking care of the community. So thank everyone for your great spirit of Vita Abundantior. I would also like to thank today a very special group of our college's donors, the members of the Ivy Society. The Ivy Society honors individuals who have given to Randolph College for 5 or more consecutive years. The sustained and loyal generosity of this group of donors enhances every aspect of our campus experience. I'm proud to be a member of the Ivy Society myself. There are 1,357 members of the Ivy Society, and 323 of those are celebrating their reunion this year. Thank you for your steadfast support. The Quillian Society is another remarkable group of Randolph College supporters. Named for President William F. Quillian, Jr., the college's fifth and longest-serving president. It honors those individuals who have included Randolph in their estate plans. We are grateful to these donors for their vision in ensuring that their legacy lives on to benefit future generations of Randolph students. There are 53 reunion alumni who are members of the Quillian Society. We give special thanks to you. And I'd like to recognize the total impact of reunion alumni giving. Reunion giving to benefit all funds at the college in 21-22 is nearly $2 million. Finally, we especially appreciate all of the reunion committee members who've dedicated their time and talent to encourage classmates to attend reunion and support their class gift, as well as the alumni volunteers who are working this weekend to make this a wonderful reunion celebration for everyone. Let's give everyone who's working a round of applause. All right, now it's time to do the introduction of the Alumni Achievement Awards. To our honorees, college alumni and alumni and guests, we are truly thankful to you. You are joining us for the 2022 Alumni Achievement Award ceremony. Thank you for helping us celebrate the achievements of two magnificent alumni. The Alumni Achievement Award is the highest award our alumni can receive from the college. Since 1981, the college has presented this award to graduates who personify the value of a liberal arts education and have brought distinction to themselves and to the college. Nominations for the award come from alumni and alumni, and the recipients are selected by an awards committee composed of faculty, staff, and alums. Today's Alumni Achievement recipients join an impressive group of graduates, including judges, senators, pilots, medical professionals, educators, ministers, TV journalists, environmentalists, and civil and human rights advocates. Among this group of recipients, there are many examples of leadership, innovation and entrepreneurship, intellect, and the grace and courage in the face of difficult challenges. Each of our Alumni Achievement Award recipients has personified the value of a liberal arts education and has brought honor upon themselves and the college through their outstanding accomplishments. I am proud to present this award to each of our 2022 Alumni Achievement recipients. Amanda Fox, class of 1967. And Sherry Preisha, class of 1987. Please join me now as we take a look at the amazing life journeys of these exceptional two women. Their fulfilling lives beyond the red brick wall include career and community service. Our recipients today exemplify the true power of what we do at Randolph.
When Sherry Preige, a member of the class of 1987, set out to find the perfect college, she was determined to find a place that was small and where she could study both Japanese and physics, not an easy task. But after an overnight visit to Randolph-Macon Women's College, she knew she had found the perfect fit.
You know, our time at school is a time that really molds us into who we are and who we become. And so those influences, whether it's academic and Dr. McCallick's influence was academic, or it's really more personal, on a personal level, to friendships. I mean, the Japanese language assistants were my roommates. These are folks who are my friends still. Both of those types of influences are really the most important thing of molding me out of school, out of Randolph-Macon.
Sherry majored in physics with a minor in mathematics and Asian studies at the college before going on to earn her PhD in astrophysical sciences from Princeton University. But in true liberal arts fashion, her life took a different turn than she expected, and she credits the strong foundation she built at RMWC for her success and her ability to navigate the twists and turns all throughout her life.
How does a liberal arts degree affect my career path? Well, my career path is essentially jumping all over the map, but I think that I have been able to jump around to many different types of careers because of a liberal arts background and studying a wide range of things at Randolph-Macon.
A young scientist fresh out of graduate school, Sherry found that the federal fusion energy field was not as robust as it was before she started her postdoctoral research, thanks to massive budget cuts. Concerned about her future career prospects, Sherry made the difficult choice to leave the lab. She joined the campaign of fellow physicist Rush Holt, helping him with a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. Sherry was able to combine her growing interest in politics with her lifelong passion for science. Since then, she has led state commissions on science and technology and even served as a policy advisor for several New Jersey governors. She has worked for Genmab, a biotech firm where she served as an alliance manager, forging a relationship with a large pharmaceutical company working on a new cancer treatment. She also started her own company, 51%, which works with federal and state candidates on polling and voter analytics. Sherry is working now with companies focused on renewable energy, and her efforts have helped New Jersey take the lead integrating offshore wind energy into the electrical grid. Looking back now, Sherry is grateful for professors who helped cultivate her passions and gave her the confidence to make a difference in her world. Professors like David Anthony and Thomas McCallick both inspired and challenged her. But she's even more appreciative of the friendships she formed behind the red brick wall, relationships from around the world that still exist today.
While I studied Japanese and I studied Asian history, what is really impactful here is that these women were my friends throughout college, and many remain some of my closest friends today. And women from around the world who remain my closest friends from Randolph-Macon.
I'd like to invite Sherry to come up and make some remarks, please.
Thank you. I guess I'm just, thank you first to my friends and classmates from Randolph-Macon. I know that standing here, I am just a representative of the many things that we've all done and that we do, and we all change the world and change our own worlds. So I am grateful for being a representative of all of you. I most of all want to thank Dr. McCallick. What didn't make the cut in the film is a long explanation of how I really understand that from the observatory down in the Dell that you nurtured while you were here. There's a direct line from that observatory to what I've done with my life, to where I live, to who I am. And I need to recognize that. I don't need to, I want to recognize that. And Dr. McCallick, you always made sure I was pointed in the right direction. I don't think that I really thought at all about my future before you essentially told me I was going to graduate school. So thank you. And to Mark, my partner, Mark Mattson, who's always supportive. So, thank you. Thanks.
From the moment she stepped on campus, Amanda Fox, a member of the class of 1967, knew RMWC was the place for her.
Because I wanted something different. I wanted a different geography. I felt immediately like it would be a good place for me to really come into my own. I was a pretty shy high school student, and I felt that was a place I could learn and grow.
And grow she did. She fondly looks back on her professors and the college's global influence for opening her mind to the world and different perspectives. She still remembers how much one of her favorite professors, Dr. David Anthony, helped broaden her perspective on the world.
I was a political science major, so I was interested in the world at large. And so I took Chinese civilization, I took Russian literature, I took Indian philosophy, comparative religions, and I was a poli-sci major. But I loved learning, and I loved learning about the world. And what was so amazing about Randolph, it was, in a small town in Lynchburg, Virginia, and yet the professors had a wonderful worldview.
Beyond the classroom lessons, one of the most important things Amanda took from her college experience was a new sense of confidence in herself.
I learned you can learn just about anything. So you may not be an expert in it, but you can learn a lot of things. And if you have a little courage and you're willing to risk some things. So having that innate sense of curiosity, which I think liberal arts teaches you, or maybe you go to liberal arts because you are by your nature curious. I'm not sure which drives what, but the curiosity piece was there. The courage piece was more instilled because the college gave me that sense of I could do things.
Amanda studied political science at the college before leaving the red brick wall to make her way through the corporate world. She credits her family and her college experience for preparing her for the corporate world and for life.
And I had a lot of jobs in my career. While I finished up my career with 20 years with one company, I had the courage to change jobs. And I think that's a pretty important thing, to know how, when you've gotten the most you can of a certain situation, maybe professionally and personally, and then move on. Because if you're not growing, if you're limited, you have to have the courage to move on. And liberal arts, taught me that it's okay. You can learn something new.
Throughout her life, Amanda has also been an avid volunteer, giving back to her community and mentoring others. She has served on the board of directors for numerous organizations, including the YMCA of Metropolitan Chicago, the Lyric Opera of Chicago, and Access Living, which advocates for people with disabilities. She also spent 10 years as a trustee for the college, chairing the enrollment and presidential search committees and serving on the membership committee. One of her biggest passions is her work with the Lyric Opera. Her connection with the Chicago organization led her and her late husband Matthew to establish a 10-week internship for a Randolph student. It was a blending of two institutions she loved.
Just to see those students grow over the summer, just to see them, their personal growth coming from sort of hesitant, you know, it's overwhelming. It's a brand new place and you don't know the people and everything, to the level of self-confidence and their knowledge about getting around a city and going to events. It's amazing. They grow.
Even though she is retired, Amanda has not stopped her quest for knowledge or her love of living an abundant life. She continues to volunteer and also takes classes in anything that strikes her interest.
I have no doubt Randolph prepared me. It didn't give me vocational training, but it gave me the ability to recognize opportunities and maximize those opportunities, and to grow. I think I'm still growing. I don't work like I did before, but I certainly continue to be educated.
Amanda, would you like to say something, please?
First of all, what an honor it is to be here, and I'm going to try not to cry. We said this was just thank yous, and that's actually what I am going to do. Because I think that video told you a lot about me, probably more than you need to know. But I thought about this, and I'm thankful. I'm a person of faith. I feel privileged to have come to this institution. I feel blessed to have been a member of this class. And I've had the best roommate and roommates anybody could ever have, including the last one, which was my husband, who, if there was a male fan club of Randolph-Macon, Matt would be the chair. So while he cannot be here, all of you have made it possible for me to be here today, and I love you all. Thank you.
Wow. I got I got a little bit emotional myself. Actually, yeah. So it was wonderful. I had not taken a lot of time to look at the finished videos, other than making sure everything all the important parts we wanted to include were included. But just looking at it again, yeah, it's amazing. So it's truly an honor to recognize these women with our Alumni Achievement Awards, and hearing what they have done within the careers and the communities. So Sherry and Amanda, you have made a significant difference in the world, and we thank you for this true distinction that you have brought to our alma mater. So thank you. And I would be remiss if I would not take a moment to recognize President Bateman for his 9 years of service to our college. So Brad, we are so appreciative of your commitment to the liberal arts, your care for the physical campus, and your work to embrace a more diverse community. So Brad, thank you so much for all you have done over the past 9 years.
I love each one of you the most. Thank you.
And before the end of the ceremony, I would like to acknowledge Spider Management for sponsoring this special event. For those of you who do not know, Spider Management is the firm who is overseeing the college endowment, and we've been very fortunate to have this partnership with them over the past few years. So I just wanted to acknowledge them. So we have officially reached the end of our ceremony, and before you all run out to meet in the sundial for a toast to Sherry and Amanda, I would like to invite you to stand if you would like, or stay seated, but to join in singing the college song. So.